The hall was overflowing with silk, gold, and laughter that sounded too sharp to be kind. Every noble family in the kingdom had gathered for one reason: the prince would choose his bride tonight. But in a kingdom where beauty was measured like currency, no one expected kindness to matter at all. At the far edge of the grand hall stood two sisters. One was radiant in every traditional sense, Lysandra, the elder. She wore a shimmering gown that caught every flicker of candlelight, her smile practiced, her posture perfect, her presence magnetic. Wherever she turned, admiration followed her like a shadow, and beside her stood Alira. She was not dressed to impress. Her gown was simple, softened by repeated use, its color muted like dawn before the sun rises. She kept her eyes lowered, as if she had learned long ago that looking too hopeful only invited disappointment. People rarely noticed her unless they needed someone to step aside. "Choose the beautiful one." The whispers spread through the crowd like wildfire. "The prince deserves elegance, not emptiness." Alira heard them, she always did, but she said nothing. She had spent her life being the overlooked sister, the one who carried the extra burdens, the one who served at feasts rather than attended them, the one who smiled so others could shine brighter. It wasn't that she lacked dreams. She had simply learned that dreams for people like her were often too heavy to hold. The trumpet sounded. The prince entered. He was not what the rumors had described. There was no arrogance in his stride, no hunger in his gaze. Instead, there was something quieter, an observant stillness, as if he were listening to things no one else could hear. One by one, the nobles presented their daughters. Perfumed introductions, curtsies perfected over years, words polished until they sparkled. And yet, the prince's expression did not change. Then his eyes moved. Not toward the center of the room, not toward the brightest jewels or the loudest laughter, but toward the edge, toward Alira. She froze when she realized it. Her breath caught. Not from hope, but from disbelief. People like her were not seen, not like this. The hall grew quieter, sensing something shifting. The prince stepped forward. Every footstep echoed like a judgment. When he stopped in front of her, the entire room held its breath. "You," he said softly. A ripple of shock moved through the crowd. Lysandra's smile tightened. Alira's hands trembled. "Your Highness, there must be a mistake." But he shook his head. "No mistake." A nobleman laughed awkwardly. "Your Highness, surely you meant her sister. The elder one is beautiful," the prince finished, his tone calm but sharp enough to silence the room. He looked around at the crowd. "I have seen beauty all evening. It has been offered to me like a performance." His eyes returned to Alira. "But I have not seen truth until now." Alira's heartbeat thundered in her ears. The prince gestured gently. "Tell me your name." "Alira," she whispered. "And tell me, Alira," he said, "why do you stand as if you expect to be dismissed?" Her lips parted, but no words came at first. No one had ever asked her that before. "I am not important," she finally said. "That is what I have been taught." A strange silence fell. Something flickered in the prince's expression, recognition, or perhaps pain. "The interruptee said." Gasps filled the hall. Lysandra stepped forward sharply. "Your Highness, she is nothing compared to me. She has no status, no grace, no claim to—" "I disagree," he interrupted gently. Then he did something no one expected. He turned to the entire court. "You have spent this evening presenting beauty as if it were worth more than character," he said. "But beauty fades. Character remains when no one is watching." He paused, his gaze steady. "And I have been watching." The hall grew uneasy. The prince raised his hand slightly. "For months, I have walked through my kingdom in disguise. I have seen who helps when there is no reward, and who ignores suffering when it is inconvenient." Alira's breath caught. "You," he said, looking at her, "were in the northern kitchens during the winter famine." Her eyes widened. "You gave your portion of food to a child you did not know. You thought no one saw you." A trembling silence spread through the room. "I saw you," he continued, "and I saw you again when the carriage broke outside the village. and you stayed in the rain helping an old man repair his wheel while others walked past you. Alira's knees weakened slightly. You thought you were invisible, the prince said softly. But you were never invisible, only unrecognized. Tears welled in her eyes, uninvited. Around them, the crowd began to shift uncomfortably. The illusion they had built, the idea that worth belonged only to the visible, was cracking. Lysandra's face had gone pale. The prince stepped closer to Alira, lowering his voice so only she could hear. I do not